Hey guys, what's going on? BMcG here, and today we're covering my 29th rank 3 Mordo. And if you guys watched my last video, that was my 40th rank 3 Mr. Negative. So I'm going a bit backwards. I'm trying to cover some characters that I said I'd make videos on. Mordo's one of them. I ranked him up for defense for Alliance War and also Battlegrounds. He's actually pretty good for it. He's actually got a really solid attacking kit, in my opinion. He does need a buff, in my opinion, but he also has enough juice to work as an attacker if you need him to. So a couple things I want to highlight while just looking over his abilities. His ability accuracy cannot be reduced by passive ability accuracy reduction, which I think is completely overlooked. He has one of the highest energy resistances in the game, if not the highest, at max sig when blocking. So like Terex's rock field that you'll see later in the video, actually coming up right now, he could just block at max sig and take like almost 0 damage, because Terex's his rock field is energy damage, which makes tons of sense. Bunch of rocks flying in the air is energy damage, not physical damage, but whatever. So yeah, those are a couple things that I thought were really cool and stood out. The synergy team I'm running is Mordo himself, obviously, a Sorcerer Supreme. That allows his Fury buffs to last 4 seconds longer, which I think is necessary. I'm also running Nick Fury and Quake to give me the evade charges. That way I could just charge my heavy whenever I want, and if the opponent attacks me, I can immediately retaliate. And then I'm also running Terex that allows me to get a evade when charging my heavy attack every 25 seconds. So Mordo, he has no way of nullifying, and instead he punishes buffs. So he's kind of risky to play. So I wanted to show him off against this unlimited power node. They gain Fury buffs every time you put like a debuff on them, and like the Fury buffs just keep going up exponentially. So Mordo in this scenario is kind of risky because he's got no way to get rid of these buffs or make them less potent, but instead he just deals damage for each buff on the opponent. So you need to be good at like dancing around with Mordo, and with this synergy team you don't really have to take any blocked hits. So you can pretty much just use your heavy charge or the evade charge that you have from the synergies to create your own openings, because his evade is just like Mr. Negative's. The counter allows yourself to get an opening, which I think is really cool. But like Silver Warrior only has 8 buffs on himself right now, and we're dealing 9,000 damage per second. Now it's going up. The one thing I like about his Soul Barb, the special 2D buff, is that it scales with your attack as it ticks. So like it's not like a bleed. You put the bleed on the opponent and it's going to deal the amount of damage for your attack at that time. Like it's not like a set bleed potency. I don't know how to explain it properly. Like the damage that the Soul Barb does fluctuates based on buffs on the opponent as well as your attack rating. That's the best way I can say it. A bleed debuff will do finite amount of damage based on how many or what your attack rating was before, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can put it. So in my opinion, Mordo's a decent character. He could definitely use a buff. He's pretty much a one-trick pony, in my opinion at least. It's just punish buffs that you can't nullify. And I mean, you're gonna use Ronin in most of these scenarios, right? Like Ronin, the one with the big hammer, the accuser, Ronin the accuser, not Ronin with the katana. Because Ronin could just stun lock. You could also use America Chavez. She can invert the potency of buffs. A lot of people don't know that about her. You can get the Fury buffs to a point where they're inverting the attack value of the opponent, and you could just let them hit you and they'll do 0 damage. And then Mordo just does damage for each buff on the opponent. So 99% of the time for these nodes I'm using Ronin, just so we can stun lock. It's the easiest way to do it. But Mordo, if you want to have fun and punish the opponent for having buffs, he's fun for it. And there's a couple bosses in Act 7 that have the unlimited power node. And just for this video, I'm going to show you guys unlimited power and resistor. I don't really think there's much else that I should be showing. because he's just kind of, I don't know, he's kind of a specialist for punishing buffs that you can't nullify. That's pretty much how it is with Mordo. The synergy team makes him super viable. I think he does need a buff to where they should throw some of his synergies into his base kit, make him just a bit easier to play. I think he's got a solid foundation for his kit, but he just needs a little bit of love, and hopefully he gets it sometime soon. So this is the last fight I'm going to show on this lane. Next up, we're going to go to 6.3.3, where Havoc is the boss of the quest. And then we're going up this resistor lane. This is a very common lane to show off mystic characters who punish buffs. And yeah, he works well for this node. There's the combo makes it pretty much perfect for him. So gotta love when the opponent lets you charge your heavy attack without interrupting you. So what you want to do against this node when using Mordo, build up the 10 physical resistance buffs on the opponent, launch the special 2, and just laugh at the damage you're doing. Like, this damage per second is insane. I think it's really good. You just want to make sure that you keep your free buffs up. I think it's really important to do that. Like I said earlier, the soul barb scales with your attack rating as well as the amount of buffs on the opponent. The damage dealt varies based on both those things, so you want to keep your free buffs up. You want to make sure that the opponent keeps their buffs. Really not much else to say about this lane or this video. I just think that Mordo needs a little buff. He's been a great defender for Loki. I don't know, he's been fun to play around with. I used him a bit in 7.4 when exploring. I might have lied. I used him a bit in Act 7 when exploring. Yeah, I use him at like rank 1 for some of these lanes because I didn't feel like using Ronin and stun locking. But yeah, he's just a fun character. I just wish he'd get buffed. He'll be fun for battlegrounds because not a lot of people want to fight a Mordo. Although he doesn't get many kills from the times I've tested during the public beta and the CCP beta. Although some people banned him because they just didn't want to deal with him, which I totally get. So yeah, that's probably gonna do it for me, guys. There's not much else to show on this guy. If you guys do like some Mordo content and you want me to try to find more, let me know in the comments. I could try. But this is pretty much all that there is to him. Just punish buffs that you don't want to nullify. And then if he's awakened and somehow high sig, he's gonna have one of the highest energy resistances in the game. So like countering Terax, he does a decent job, but Terax doesn't really have many buffs that he can interact with. So yeah, it's really just situational. But yeah, another thing that's cool about Mordo is he can block unblockable special attacks after holding block for like half a second. So I guess that's pretty cool. Another thing I really like about Mordo is just like how he gains power so consistently. You can like sit there, charge heavy, and intercept with your specials. You know, if they're under a bar, if the opponent's under a bar of power. I don't know, I think he's cool. I really would like to see him get a buff and make him easier to use because he's got a solid foundation. They just need to add to it and modernize him a bit, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. If you did enjoy, consider hitting like, consider subscribing. If you already subbed, you know I love you. I'll see you guys for the next video or stream. Peace out.